Thanks. Join us. Okay, going to mechanical engineers. First time I ever heard of that. So it's happening to that. See where that. We'll just see where it takes us. Just Earth engineer, whatever. I don't know if we call it Anunnaki, whatever you want to call it. A world changer, I guess, something like that. And also timeline wars that are going on. Obviously, they can't go into all details because we have to kind of sit here and live it in the cooker. So, not like we have much choice here. Not at the moment, apparently, until you figure out what you're here to figure out. There's Avatar.com, private sessions. Scheduler. Shop here somewhere. Okay, all right. So mechanical engineer energies, just wherever that goes. Right now, I guess Israel is kind of quiet right now until they're ready to blow something else up. Whatever that's up with that. More power to them on that one. So, geez, we'll see. Timeline wars. Obviously, we have a lot of that going on right now. Nothing ever is supposed to make a lot of sense. So, you're here to figure out what you need to figure out, whatever that is needed to be figured out. At least your main purpose here. Yeah, until it's going to be a mystery. Even when you leave here, it still might be a mystery. All right, so go into mechanical engineer energies and see where that goes and move on from there. All right, blessings. Greeks used. There's different consciousness of the mechanical engineers. Is also, doesn't mean you have to look at humanity. Well, basically, there's an engineering to the human body on a physical level that's been so ancient, even forgotten, at least by the higher realms or the non-physical realms. But the non-physical realms come into the physical to assist with the human development, at least to add to it, to make it more complicated. Basically, like the avatar, just the human form has always been around. And then you do different things with it. You put an ape into it, or a Martian, a Palladian, and so on, a pig, a whatever it is, humanoid. You can go on and on with that. So here is as you can. Well, I was going to call it the perfect, for this world, but it is. It just shows how complicated, how deep the human can go, at least into the lower consciousness, but not get to be swallowed up by the lower frequencies completely. Some do, but then they always find a way out too, to some level. A mechanical engineer is like a human, term. Some might call it God, like some worlds would use that as like a term for God, only because they can fix things, do things that other people can't do. It's like calling a mechanic to fix your car or your stove. Sometimes they're miracle workers. Sometimes they are kind of magicians to some level. There are realities where these type of people are worshipped. Of course, you don't see much of that now. Well, they're not much in your world. They're not much into manipulating society, but they are into manipulating matter to make it work. Zetas are known to do that also, but also the mechanical engineers also know for puzzle creators too. So we have there's different ways of looking at a mechanical engineer. Yeah, you can say like a God type of, basically make your world as complicated as possible. So you can have a mechanical engineer just like fixing things or problem solving, whatever. People also making a world so convoluted, so many dimensional as your world is. almost like a locked planet, but not exactly. Well, you do get closed in here to figure yourself out, and is what how you go about it. Of course, there's entities here to drive you insane, but then that's how you discover more of your dark side, also. Well, it's like going into your shadow to a certain level, but you not fall into it. Some do, but some of you are there to be pulled out of it. Not everybody's meant to fall into the lower dimensions, but quite a few are. Well, if you're connected to higher vibes, then you find the lower dimensions also as a home. So, yeah, and there are beings trying to take over hell, or think they are running it. And in this reality, there's a version of that too. So yeah, if you see an auto mechanic or a handyman or handy woman or however you want to word it, uh, you might look at it differently. Of course, there are world engineers. They're ones like part of your United Nations, controlling your world, influencing it. You hear about the elite, but there are your public elite that still have a heavy influence, a narcissistic influence to keep the world crazy, to keeps them from having a job. What would life be if the world became peaceful? And you'd be surprised, like something like the UN and other three-letter agencies could just, lay down their sticks and stop fighting, stop manipulating. You'd be surprised what kind of world you'd be living in right now. Now, I was just saying that puts the idea out there too of just, they're allowed, entities like that are allowed to manipulate to a certain level, but eventually they get destroyed. You can say they kind of know that, but then again, they might have a couple 100 years in power. Well, it's testing humanity, it's testing themselves. It's like, are they going to destroy themselves with the karma? I mean, what is it? How far do you want to go with that? So there's just a lot of soul searching, soul development as you're going through. You know what you need to know here. Obviously, you can go a great deal. You might steer you in the wrong direction, meaning like how the world is influenced, how it's manipulated. Do you need to know all that? Right now, just focus on your own direction. Well, because you are here to unsolve your own case, your own puzzle, your own reality. To make it better, maybe. Sometimes you have it too good, you get off course also, unless that's your path. So it's just different ways of looking at how all this works. There's a non-physical, well, a lot of beings on the non-physical realms do not want to, they feel like there's no reason to manipulate societies. And again, there are beings that feel like, well, nobody's messing with us, so I'll just go and influence it. Nobody will notice. Of course, everybody notices. Just come here and dabble with your reality. Next thing you know, you have Israel and all these things happening. Israel has a lot to heal. It at least is the upper, obviously on all levels, but definitely the king level is very wicked, as you can see, and narcissistic, and very karmic. You talk about it. Some of these people are starting these wars are not welcome back here once they do what they do. Now they can redeem themselves, but a lot of them choose not to. And then this world haunts them for the rest of their spiritual existence until you're willing to face what you've done, the karmic direction, what they brought to themselves. You'd be surprised. Just that little voice in the back of their head when they're in some other universe, like, by the way, remember what you did on this planet? All the bloodshed is the blood is on your hands right now. Genocide. You want to do something about that? So, and some of you are there to, clear that karma. So, this thing of your world, you are slowly allowed to know certain details to end the war on the planet. It's not ready yet. Some people still have a war inside themselves. And that's worse than any type of war you're seeing here. This is an individual war, which is much. Those that get triggered easily or pushed to being triggered and causing. And of course, the police here, I can use a break every once in a while. But many humans here are re-engineering themselves, going to their dark side, but then they can't get themselves out, especially alcoholism. There's different ways of finding your darkness. You don't have to use alcohol to do that. If you do, sometimes there's no way out. I mean, you went, kind of non-sober. Getting sober is not easy. How are you supposed to free yourself if you're never sober? And it's easy for you to get pulled into other realities. So it's not that easy. And food energies, the food wars that are here. Chemical warfare. Some of you are connected to food just for grounding purposes. And also just to kind of test things out, see what is this all about. Sometimes you have to eat the poison to figure it out. So hopefully you're still here because of it. But because it's influencing so many people, sometimes you just need to know what it does to you. I mean, not to the full extent, we have some idea. If it's chemical warfare on the human race, to help you with sanity, to block insanity, to bring in more insanity, but also for exit points. So if they can't get you, in a car, they'll get you somehow through food to knock you out of here. It's a test on all levels. Imagine what kind of Big Macs you're eating in the lower dimensions. It's like, here, have a Satan burger. They thrive on insanity. And there is a reason for that here, but being a drunken sailor can only go so far. Greece uses the energies from the timeline war frequencies. There's an Orion war going on here that has been going on for centuries. Territory. So, I don't know how you look at it. There are some individuals that want to rule over Iran and want it for themselves. Israel? It's one of them. They wanted to obey their orders, to do as they wish. Doesn't mean it's always Israel, but Israel is definitely one to pick the fight. Iran is similar to Russia in a lot of ways, a scapegoat. That's not perfect. Russia is, neither one were perfect. But they're worried about spies and industrial espionage. It's like we'll just manipulate society and just make it difficult. China is the same thing. So, and when you think you're free, are you really all that free? As some of you have noticed. Yeah, especially the food, chemical warfare on society that the U.S. is going through, because Europe does not have that, but the U.S. does. That's just the war of the frequency. The more the frequencies, the more they have influence over society. If society is crazy to a certain level, they can use that against other countries. So become all love and light and everything. They can't manipulate society, and everything starts to break down, which the world's not quite ready for that just yet. But the timeline frequency, it's constantly going on, second by second. We can't go into all the details for obvious reasons. A lot of zeta energies are involved. A lot of the aliens, not all aliens are deeply involved. The zetas are definitely involved, but they got themselves kind of locked into an abyss of nowhereness. They're trying to find their way out. Not that they ever will. Just like you'd be on a timeline merry-go-round, you just can't get off. And you think this world has difficulties. When you're working interdimensional time travel and there's just no end to it because they keep screwing things up. So, and there's ways of backtracking where it doesn't influence your world, but it does cause some confusion, Mandela effects that occur here. There's just not everything's going to make a whole lot of sense. There's also the transhumanism energies coming in. Well, it's those that can't take care of themselves. They need a machine in their brain. They need the internet to tell them what to do, literally. So that's going to not come in drastically. There's going to be a phase of that eventually. Then it'll phase out. So you're dabbling with AI also to actually improve society. There's always a dark side to everything, but there's some self improvement that's being just to make things a little bit easier, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to some of you. Like I said, there's a dark side to everything. So you're already actually getting assistance from AI in a positive way, if you want to look at it that way. Obviously, some self-indulgent and go into horrible directions. That's the nature of your world. Well, you have to explore on all levels. Might as well while you're here. So that's why certain things happen here. I'm not going into all the details of that. But say the timeline wars as for the Orions go to war with the Syrians. Well, the Orions, you can say, took refugees, or took human trafficking, took beings from Sirius, and it's been a war ever since. Just want to see talented individuals like Einstein. He's been hijacked many times before to influence society and things like that. Because he's kind of a celebrity scientist. Yeah, might be smart, but it's still kind of an odd celebrity. Because usually someone of that type of intelligence would not want attention, no matter what. Like be as boring as possible. And hopefully everyone goes away. But that one, so that's kind of Einstein was a little bit of a clown in his time. That's not a bad thing, but it just shows you that there's a propaganda on every level. And also your World War II, there was World War II is a strange one. It's like you're breaking out of the old world, going into the new one. You're going from the old world of no technology. You have some primitive technologies, but now you're going to the new technology, which you are now. Yes, more insanity. Yes, life has gotten easier to some level as for cleanliness, sort of, but the mind has never been tested so much before. The mental health is at a brink, as you can see, of crazy. There's just too much going on, too much influences. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? Should I be rich? Should I be poor? It's like the mind is all over. It's like the simpler times are gone. But that also shows you're going to more of a hyperactive, hyper reality eventually, where, you can get to 10, 20, 30 realities at once. But some of you are already doing it, and that's why you're so exhausted. I'm in a secret space program where I was going to connect to without going completely insane. And you kind of lose your identity too. Are you that person from that other lifetime? Are you who you are now? Who are you exactly? Does anybody know that at this point? Because you can get influenced by other realities, or it can change you drastically. And it's self-sabotage. It does happen. Yeah, you connect to a self-sabotage version of yourself. And you tap into that because all your own fears and insecurities, and you can start sabotaging yourself here. It's not often, but it does happen. Yeah. Well, alcoholism can bring that. Yeah, alcoholism's like it's just asking for trouble. And yet it's everywhere. Well, those of you who become more spiritually developed are an easier target. Yes, you have your regular human that might be in part of alcoholism, but they're kind of like very simple individuals usually. But when you're like a multi-dimensional person, it gets interesting. Because you're what kind of person you're going to be. What kind of personality you're going to bring in. How strange are you going to get? So that's one way. Of course, they have those drugs out, cocaine thing, which is harder to get. Alcohols are everywhere. For now. Eventually they will get rid of it. And even smoking will die out. Not yet. There's too many people that need it for their own self-destruction. But there will be a time when alcoholism would be banned from the planet itself. At least used once again for medicine instead of just killing yourself. Because that's what it is. It's just a medicine. Medicine has been taken to a whole new level. So